It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl. Play along with us today and test your own science IQ. We've got two great middle schools here vying for the chance to take on Samuel Ogle for the chance to get that last of the final 4 spots in this year's middle school competition. Let's meet today's teams. First from Charles Carroll Middle School, would you please say hello to Kimber Gonzalez, Rodrigo Torres, and Wilson Martinez. And from Thurgood Marshall, would you please welcome to our show Samari Beckett, Avery Hill, and Andre McCamey. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing, and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
And here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our questions on the game board according to their difficulty, with the easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10, tougher ones 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. End of the 2 rounds, one of these 2 good-looking teams will come back to play our game again. Yes, they'll take on Sam Ogle, as we were saying at the top of the show, for a chance to go to the semifinals. Let's make sure everything was working properly before we start. Let's go to Charles Carroll. Rodrigo, would you try your buzzer for me? It looks and it sounds good. Good luck to you and to Wilson and to Kimber. And Avery, give it a push if you would. Yes, sir. Good luck to you and to Andre and to Samari. Are you guys ready to do this? Yeah, you look a little nervous over there. If you weren't nervous, that would not be normal. You know, if you're nervous, you guys are potential football players. It keeps you on your toes. We're going to have a good game. You've already won by being selected by your schools. We go alphabetically, C before T. So Charles Carroll and Rodrigo, let's play the ball. Go.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, there is a humanoid robot in Japan that is a barista in a coffee shop, and its name is the name of this most popular spice. All right, Thurgood Marshall.
Paprika.
Not quite. Not quite. Charles Carroll, the most popular spice is?
Pepper.
Yes, it is pepper. That's what I thought you were going to say the first time. Go red. Good comeback.
Zoo Parade for 15.
Zoo Parade for 15 points. Teams, the coconut crab is the world's largest land crustacean. It, like the lobster, is a decapod, meaning what? A decapod is, Rodrigo.
It has 10 legs.
It has 10 legs, absolutely right. Those coconut crabs are so big, they actually kill seabirds. They're that big. Go red.
Let's give physical for 15.
Get physical for 15 points. 3-part answer. Listen carefully. This is a strange story. There's a Japanese spacecraft that recently discovered it had dents all over it. The dents were caused not by rocks flying through space, but by solidified urine that had been flushed away from the International Space Station. They knew it was urine because they detected P, S, and N. 3 chemicals. I've given you the symbols. Give me the names of those chemical elements, P, S, and N. You're all looking at me like, what language is he speaking? All right, come on, Thurgood Marshall. Charles Carroll, you have some answers ready for me in case I come to you.
Nitrogen. Nitrogen.
Yeah, I need all 3.
Oh, we need 2 more.
P, S, and N.
Nitrogen.
Samari, weigh in. Let them know what you think.
Nitrogen, sodium, and
Good tries. Good tries, Charles Carroll. P, S, and N. There were traces of those three chemical elements in that solidified urine that caused those dents on the Japanese spacecraft.
Potassium, sulfur, and nitrogen.
Oh, sulfur and nitrogen. Yes, the P is phosphorus. Phosphorus. Good try. No points. All that work, and I can't even give you a single point. Go red.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, the first evidence that birds descended from dinosaurs took place back in 1997 when they found a fossil in China, a fossil of a dinosaur that had these. Rodrigo.
Wings.
More.
Um,
No, not quite, Thurgood Marshall. This dinosaur resembled a bird because it had what?
Feathers.
Feathers, yes indeed. Good. Go green. Avery.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Multiple choice question. Teams, sweet, sour, bitter, salty. Those are the four basic tastes. The fifth one is umami, which is otherwise known as fatty, savory, or smoky. Which of those three is the other term used to describe that Japanese word umami taste?
smoky.
Not smoky. Is it fatty, savory, or smoky, Avery?
Savory.
Savory is right. Yes, sir. Another comeback. All right. Check that score. 80-70. Go green.
Let's go. Let's get physical for 10.
Physical for 10 points. Teams, the disturbance that you see behind an airplane in flight and behind a boat in water is known as this.
Air draft.
Yeah, Charles Carroll.
Air draft.
Air draft, not air draft, the disturbance you see behind an airplane in flight and behind a boat in the water is known as this.
Resistance.
The wake or turbulence. The wake or turbulence. Sometimes it's called wake turbulence. Go again, green. Still 10 points back, Avery.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, if you eat too much salt, your kidneys really have to work very hard to get rid of the excess amount of this chemical element. Too much salt, Avery.
Urea.
Not urea. No. What kind of chemical is it trying to get rid of if you eat too much salt?
Sodium.
Sodium. That's it. Good. Go. Red.
Science potpourri for 15.
Science potpourri for 15 points. Teams, if you have a fur coat made of ermine, E-R-M-I-N-E, ermine is a kind of weasel, but it is very nice. It's white, it's expensive. But if your fur coat is made of vermin, V-E-R-M-I-N, you've got the fur of what animal around you? Thurgood Marshall. What you got?
Beaver.
What's that?
Beaver.
Not a beaver. Rodrigo? Vermin fur. What is it?
Fox.
Rat. Rat. Rats and mice are vermin like roaches. All right. We come to the end of the first round. It is 100 for Charles Carroll, 70 for Thurgood Marshall, and we'll be back with round two in just one moment. Welcome back to Science Bowl. Nice to have you here today in this, our 32nd year of competition. And in all 32 years, we have never seen Thurgood Marshall Middle School, so we are delighted to have them here. And Charles Carroll, this is only their second year of competition, so I wish they hadn't made us wait so long, but it was worth the wait. We've got 6 outstanding players here today. Let's meet them right now. Let's go to Charles Carroll. And Rodrigo, tell us about Charles Carroll. Where in the county is it?
It's in New Carrollton, Maryland.
New Carrollton, absolutely right. And who's your principal?
Mr. Hendershot.
Mr. Hendershot, indeed. And I know he's out there rooting for you. And who's the sponsor of your team?
Miss Chaudry.
That's right. And she is, without her, this wouldn't have happened. And Manjot, thank you for all that you've done to get this team prepared. And I know she's been working with you. Rodrigo, any alternates on your team?
St. Tanya.
Yes, and she'll be out in just a few moments along with your coach. Tell me something great about Charles Carroll.
Well, Charles Carroll has a lot of teachers, good teachers, who encourage you, because ever since I attended there in 6th grade, I've always had teachers who encourage me to do better than what I'm already doing. And also, our school is also really diverse. We have people from all backgrounds, and it's really friendly. Teachers really care about us. They ask us how we're doing, and if one day they see that we're down, they would ask us what's the problem, and
That's all. Those are great. Those are all the things that we hope teachers would do, and we're glad to hear that that's happening in Charles Carroll. And I liked your word encourage, because teachers have to encourage and they have to challenge you. And you're doing a nice job here today. Tell me about yourself. What do you want to do someday?
I'd like to be a surgeon or a American football player because it really interested me a lot. Even though there's the danger of concussions, but it's a really interesting sport because I like to run a lot, and I like the idea of having to work as a team a lot. And I like the suspense that it could have at times.
Absolutely, yeah. Sometimes it comes down to that last play, and it's a skillful game, and as you say, it takes a lot of people to make that work. It is a team effort, just like this is a team effort, and you're kind of the quarterback here today. Wilson, nice to have you back. How many times have you been on this show, young man?
About 3 times, I believe.
Three times, and you were here with Cooper Lane Elementary.
Yeah.
So you look kind of relaxed. What do you like about Science Bowl? Why do you come back?
Well, I didn't really think about it that much. I really didn't want to be on here, but then I was like, I was already on it, so maybe my confidence could help a lot.
Yeah, absolutely right. And we're sorry you really didn't want to be here. I'm going to work hard to change that attitude over there. What do you want to do someday, Wilson?
I want to become a pediatrician.
Pediatrician, all right. And Kimber, you're here for the first time. Yeah. And you're good buddies with Wilson, huh?
Yeah.
You both soccer players?
I don't know about him, but I
Tell me what you want to do someday.
I was a bit unsure, but I like math, even though this is a science bowl, and I'm really good at science too. I kind of prefer math.
Yeah.
So maybe those percentage questions that you did earlier, maybe I can help with those.
Absolutely. Yeah, so yeah, we have a few of those sprinkled in here too, and a lot of times those skills are transferable. If you're a good mathematician, a lot of times you're a good scientist, and vice versa. Good to have you on the program today. Thurgood Marshall, nice to have you guys here. Avery, tell us about Thurgood Marshall. Where is it located?
So Thurgood Marshall's in Temple Hills.
Yeah, I used to drive past it when I taught at Lord Baltimore, which is now Isaac Gordine, which is not too far down the road from Crossland High School. Who's your principal?
Dr. Clark.
Dr. Clark. And Dr. Clark, I know, is very proud of you. I'm sure all of Thurgood Marshall is proud of the fact that you guys are here today. And who's your sponsor?
It's Miss Butler.
Miss Butler. And without Miss Butler, Tracy, without you, this would not have happened. And I appreciate you taking the risk to come here. And it's not really a risk, it's a chance to really highlight and showcase your school. What do you want to do, Avery, someday?
I want to play professional football.
Yeah. So, yeah, Rodrigo told me he might want to play for the Ravens or the Patriots, and you're liking the Patriots too, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, we have no hometown recruits here, folks. No future Redskins, but that's all right. Avery, tell me something nice about Thurgood Marshall.
Thurgood Marshall is very open-minded, so we aren't afraid to say our opinions.
Well, isn't that important? You know, you don't want to sit there and if someone's going to criticize you for what you say, I mean, you're not going to start to talk anymore because you're going to keep everything inside. So, yeah, you need a nice free exchange of ideas. That's a good observation. Any alternates on your team?
Yes, Innocent.
Innocent. She will be out in just a few moments' time. Andre, nice to have you here. Young man who's interested in health and science and also history, yeah?
Yes.
You were talking about Asian history, right?
Yeah.
What do you know about Asian history?
I mean,
There's so much of it. There's so
yeah.
much of it in so many different countries over there. What is it about history that fascinates you?
just the things that they've done and what you can learn from them.
Absolutely. And
And
sometimes,
what we can do.
go ahead.
And what we can do to do the same thing as them, be good leaders and stuff like that.
And hopefully we can build on what they've done and maybe avoid their mistakes.
Yes.
As they say, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. And that's not something we always want to do. Good to have you here today. Samari, nice to have you with us today. You're interested in medicine and you might want to go into psychology or dermatology. You have a lot of schooling ahead of you. Yeah, because you've got medical school and then you've got your internships and residencies. Tell me what you do in your spare time.
Well, I like to watch anime and listen to K-pop because it's a very diverse sort of fandom culture where a bunch of people come together over social media over something that they really like or are intrigued by. So that's what really brings me towards it.
That's a beautiful description. You're so well spoken, and thank you for defining that. I know some of the judges, and myself included, we were wondering what anime meant, and we were thinking it was like a girl's name. So yeah, for some of us older folks, that was a nice tutorial. Thank you. Let's get back into our game. 70 for Thurgood Marshall, 100 for Charles Carroll. Last correct answer came to the red team. Lots of points to give away. Rodrigo, let's go.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25, big one in that category. Teams, mosses and lichens represent something called epibiosis, which means those two plants, they live on another living thing just for support, not for nutrients, which means they are not this kind of plant. Yes, Avery.
Vascular.
Not vascular, no, they are not. Since they're not taking nutrients, they're just using that other organism for support. They are not what? Parasites. Parasites. A parasite sucks nutrients from the host, but it's not doing it. It's just needing, it's kind of a shoulder to lean on. That's all. Go red.
Zoo parade for 10.
Zoo parade for 10 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor in the studio, if you would, please, teams. This is a starfish. A starfish has something called radial symmetry, and the kind of radial symmetry is called pentamerism because it has how many, math question, how many axes of organization?
5.
Rodrigo.
5.
5, yeah. Penta is a prefix for 5, like the Pentagon, the big building down there in Virginia. Go red.
Dateline signs for 15.
Dateline signs for 15 points. Teams, back in 1903 on Coney Island in New York, they literally electrocuted an elephant that was a rogue and damaging things and killing people. The person who threw the switch was this man who was associated with the incandescent light bulb. Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison. Go again, red. Go red. You guys aren't talking. You're just kind of sitting there. Share your ideas, and something will come out. I guarantee it. Go red.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Another visual question. Look back at the monitor, please. You know, if you're lucky enough to have a bearded dragon, you know what a nice pet they are. They're very easy to take care of. As you learn more about that bearded dragon, you become a reptile specialist. A reptile specialist is known scientifically as one of these. It's a herpetologist. A herpetologist. Go again, red.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. All right, teams, if you like chocolate like I do, you should be very thankful to the tiny fly called the midge, because the midge does this to the cocoa plant. Rodrigo.
Pollinize?
Yeah, it pollinates it. Yeah, without that, no cocoa beans, no chocolate, no Snickers. Go red.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points is a multiple choice question. Teams, when astronomers look at planets and they see ridges that look like mountains, they refer to them as which of the following? Listen carefully. Do they refer to them as cauda, C-A-U-D-A, dorsa, D-O-R-S-A, or ventra, V-E-N-T-R-A? Ridges on heavenly bodies, Rodrigo.
Ventras?
Not ventra. Avery?
Dorsa.
Dorsa, that's right. Like the dorsal fin on a fish. The dorsal side is the back of you, the ventral side is the front side. So anything that sticks up, dorsa would make sense. That's the way we wanted you to think. Nicely done. Go green. 85, 120, advantage still red. Avery, you get to pick.
Science potpourri for 20.
Science potpourri for 20 points. Teams, and arbovirus is one that causes diseases that are carried by things like mosquitoes. Mosquitoes belong to what phylum of organisms that sounds like arbovirus? A mosquito is a what? Like all insects are.
Arthropod.
Say it again.
Arthropod.
Ooh, not quite. Charles Carroll, what you got?
Arthropods?
Arthropod, not anthropod. So close, Thurgood Marshall. You'll get them next time. Go, Rodrigo. Good comeback.
Let's give physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, back in 1979, the Voyager 1 spacecraft got up close to Jupiter for the first time and saw in great detail this most well-known place on the surface of Jupiter. They saw up close and personal what feature, Charles Carroll?
The red spot?
The red spot, the great red spot. That's it. Kimber and Wilson were saying, say it. That's it. Good. Go red.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25 points. Teams, you might have heard about this. They found a painting by Vincent van Gogh that had a grasshopper stuck in the paint since 1899. Well, the whole grasshopper wasn't there. The head was still there, but there was just the impression of what two other body parts behind the head of that insect. All right, come on, get yourself 25 big points here, Charles Carroll. You think about that. Come on, guys, have an answer in case I come to you. The head was there. What two other body parts of that insect were missing? Rodrigo.
The thorax and the abdomen.
Yes, sir. Good answer. Thorax and abdomen. Well done. Go.
Science potpourri for 25.
For how many?
25.
25 in science potpourri teams. You know, in Africa, it is legal to hunt elephants. Trophy hunting, it is called. People pay a lot of money to do that because in those countries, that is considered controlling the size of the herd. It is not poaching when you do that. It is this C initialed word where you're reducing the size of the herd by killing some of the members. What is that C initial term for 25 points? It's called culling, C-U-L-L-I-N-G. Go, Red.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline science for 20 points. Teams, 6 of these NASA missions took men to the moon. The 13th one famously had a major malfunction. What was the name of those programs in NASA? Rodrigo.
Apollo.
Yes, Apollo 13 was the one, that famous movie where they had a leak there of the carbon dioxide up there in the spacecraft, so they never got to land. Thank you, Wilson. Go, Rodrigo.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline science for 25 points. Teams, a soccer ball belonging to astronaut Ellison Onizuka's daughter was found on the beach after this space shuttle exploded in 1986. Rodrigo.
Discovery.
Not Discovery. Come on, Thurgood Marshall, you need this one.
Apollo 11.
No, the Challenger. The Challenger spacecraft is the one that exploded at takeoff in Florida. All right, go again, Red.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. All right, teams, multiple choice question. Teams, rare plants that live in just a very small area, like the giant sequoias in California, are they known as epidemic plants, endemic plants, or pandemic plants? Plants that are found only in a small area, Rodrigo.
Endemic.
Endemic, that's it, good. Red.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, they say the mother of all parasites is this thing that often can be 30 feet long inside you. Rodrigo.
Tapeworms.
A tapeworm. Disgusting things. Disgusting. Go, Red.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems to 25 points. A big one in that category. Come on, Thurgood Marshall, let's get one of these here. I know you can do it. 25 points, body systems. When a mosquito bites you, or a leech bites you, or a vampire bat, perish the thought, bites you, the reason why you keep bleeding and don't clot is because those animals inject an anti-what into your blood? Okay. Rodrigo.
Antioxidant?
Not an antioxidant. Good try. Thurgood Marshall. An anti-what keeps that blood flowing?
Antigen.
Good try as well. An anticoagulant, because coagulation is what happens when the blood clots. Okay, we're down to the last couple questions. Rodrigo?
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25. Big one in that category, teams. You know, luminescence is a term that means light but no heat. Incandescence, which a match illustrates, is light because of heat. I'll give you 25 points if you can spell incandescence. All right. Someone who's going to be the speller. All right.
I'll do it.
Okay.
INCANDESCENTS.
Oh, so close. Somebody was there coaching you too. All right, Charles Carroll, who's going to be my speller? Who is going to spell incandescence?
Pass it, Kimber.
Okay, Kimber, showtime.
INCANDECENCE.
You left out an S. I-N-C-A-N-D-E-S-C-E-N-C-E. Good try, both teams, no points. Red team, go, Rodrigo.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, it is usually a mixture of ginger and cloves and cinnamon that makes up this spice that we find in everything from Cheerios and Oreos to Starbucks coffees. Name that spice. Avery.
Pumpkin spice?
Pumpkin spice, yeah. It's everywhere. You can even get pumpkin spice soap, like you're going to eat it. All right, the buzzer says the game is over. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Don't go away. Welcome back to Science. Well, I hope you enjoyed this game at home. Hopefully you could keep up and you tested your own science IQ. We're proud of all of our players. Let's give them all a hand. Great job, everybody. Clap for yourselves. Thurgood Marshall 90, Charles Carroll 235. You're headed to the next round against Samuel Ogle, Wilson, Rodrigo, and Kimber Santania. Look at that big smile up there, Miss Chaudhry. Congratulations, you worked hard and it paid off. And Thurgood Marshall, you broke the glass ceiling. No one's ever been here before from Thurgood Marshall. You did it, and you did a wonderful job here, and we're proud of you. Samari and Avery and Andre and Innocent. And Miss Butler, don't make this a one and done. Please come back. We enjoyed having you here, and we enjoyed having you as well. We'll see you next time on another edition of Science Bowl. I'm Dave Zarin. Until then, bye-bye.